so let's get to the video. So today we're working on Speed 6. We have another customer dropped it off, need a turbo install. We're doing a Corksport CTS4 install on his because his KO4 is blown. It's smoking really bad, the car right there. And yeah, I haven't really done much lately. It's been snowing here and there's not much we can do. So except for wait it out, it's Colorado for you. So today we're just gonna work on this project and I'll do a little more time lapse for you guys and see if we can get it done this weekend for him. Let's pull it right in. I like the GTs. You get these, the old school navigation, I mean. But I used to have the 06 GT. I don't really miss it. It was a heavy car. Woo, I can almost see it back there. Check out the smoke. Let me show you. Woo. Oh man, that's a blown turbo. Let me shut it off. All right. Whoo. Woo-wee. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty bad. So it looked like it is a DMP manifold. Okay. And downpipe, the CTS4 is in here. You got the wastegate and a dump tube. And yeah, the flanges for the downpipe. And map sensor. I believe, yeah. And boost controller. And we got everything we need to get started. Downpipe bolts, 2 of them were pretty much seized in there and I needed a way to torch it, that way I can get it out. But I got it out, as you can see right there. This is the 2 of them right there. Basically it was stripped inside the thread, inside the turbo, so doesn't really matter. This is for the KO4 that's blown. I can already see the oil all over the place. But yeah, those 2 were seized up in there. I had to heat it up quite a bit and use the impact on it before I was able to get it out. But now it look like it's kind of hard to see back here. My light isn't working properly, but now I just gotta remove the under bolt that's holding the turbo, that's supporting the turbo. There's like 3 bolts, 1 on the turbo and 2 to the block. Just gotta remove those and the turbo will be able to drop and I can get the manifold off. But I got all the bolts out of the manifold. All right, got it out. If you guys haven't removed the stock turbo before, there's a whole lot of things that you need to get out of the way because there's a couple of support brackets that's holding the turbo and another support bracket that's holding the stock catalytic converter. This one holds the catalytic converter. There's 2 bolts that you can get from underneath the car. You can be able to get those 2 bolts out and that will free up the catalytic converter once you get everything out of there. And then this is the turbo support bolt. There's 1 underneath the turbo. This one goes underneath the turbo. And there's 2 bolts right behind it that bolts to the block. And there's like a little small bracket over here that holds the cold side of the turbo. The compressor side of the turbo. So if you haven't removed the stock turbo before, yeah, make sure you have all your tools. And what I did with the hose is just get like a vice grip and wrapped it with some some towel and just grip it so that way you don't leak all coolant all over the place. Now, I wish I could do like a install and uninstall video for you guys, but I don't really have much time, so I needed to get all of it out of there. And the catalytic converter, so what I did, I took the bolt out from right here that bolts directly to the exhaust, took those two bolts out, and you can just pull everything from the top on the engine, just wiggle it around and you'll be able to maneuver it out of there. But you have to get the turbo out first before you can have room to remove the catalytic converter, because it's pretty big and there's not enough room. So if you need way out of there, once you get the manifold off, get the turbo off, and you'll be able to pull the whole downpipe and the catalytic converter like at the same time. So right now I'm just gonna wrap these up and put this in back in the trunk for him and get ready to install the CTS4. Here's the new turbo, the CTS4. Comes with everything you need. What I like about Corksport, they give you like a really well detailed instruction. I spent a lot of money and everything. Make sure the presentation is really good. So a new water line to the EGR, and he's doing external wastegate, towel 44. So this is the elbow that goes under the turbo to direct it away from the transfer case. Wastegate is all nice and tucked down there. I gotta make sure that vacuum T where it's at is free and clear from any heat. So I won't know until I put the downpipe on and mock the downpipe before I can figure out the proper way to route it. But as you can see, it's not like in an ideal spot. I think I might need to move it to the left side, but I won't know until I put the downpipe on and then make sure I'm free and clear of any heat. But because this is a eBay downpipe, and so it's a V-band, and then it has the normal 5-volt. And I don't know if you guys can see, but on the top, if you're running eBay downpipe, on the top you have to use like the factory nut on there, because the provided nut that Corksport included will not fit up there due to the design and the shape of the V-band. It sticks right out, so it won't allow you to properly sit it. I don't know if you can do it, you can do it, but I was able to get the factory one in there, and it works perfectly just fine. The wastegate dump in there. So once I get everything tightened up, I'll put the alternator back on there, and then the downpipe, and should be good to go. She's all in. Everything is almost buttoned up. The wastegate, and I mean, for the guys running with the MX6, and if you want to run this Corksport wastegate with the CTS4, the CTS5, CTS6, whichever one you're running, and a better way is to point the gate towards the block. Make sure the wastegate, as you can see right there, the blue, make sure at least it's towards the block. That will allow you to run the dump tube right in front of that subframe, so you get proper clearance over there and you won't be running into any issues. And also, if you're running external gate, it's also best to run, if you're not running steel braided lines for your vacuum source, best to run like the vacuum source like right under the gate. That way it doesn't get close to the downpipe and it'll melt it. So this line right here, this vacuum line, the source for it is under the wastegate, so it's there's a lot of gap between the downpipe and there it is, before I can even touch the vacuum line. And I routed it around, give it like a longer route. That way you just want to avoid any of the heat. Put it behind the shield all the way up to the 3-port boost controller, and that'll avoid any any heat, and which will cause the line to break or crack. You don't want that because that could be bad news for your motor if you overboost. Best way to ride the 3-port. So if you're running a Grimspeed, there's numbers on there, and it's like labeled on there. So this is 1, which goes straight to the intake, the air intake box. If there's like if you have one that has like a vacuum source on it, you can run it to it. If you don't have one, you can just vent this one. This is just venting. Doesn't really do anything. But if you have like a little vacuum source in your intake, you can just plug it right in there. And then the middle part, which is 2, it goes straight to the turbo. That's where you get your boost source from. And then 3 is for the wastegate, if you run an external gate. So that's pretty much how it is, 3, 2, 1. So it's straightforward. Okay, got everything back on. And went ahead and double check everything else, make sure everything is 100%. Controller, everything hooked up, battery on. He has I think 3-bar map sensor and everything, it's already on. So now what I'm gonna do is just prime the engine real quick. That way I can get some oil inside that turbo before we fire it up. But I think we should be good for now. Now let's prime the engine real quick. Get the oil flowing. Okay. All right, we should be good to go. Let's make sure. Max export, everything is good on there. Okay, now let's fire it up. So far everything is good. Yeah, it's still gonna smoke a little bit because the old turbo, all the oil is still probably somewhere inside the exhaust, so it needs to clear out. But other than that, go ahead and check for leaks underneath real quick. Up, we should be good. I don't see anything. This is the dump tube for the gate. So far we're good. All right. Okay. And there she goes. You're welcome, man. Have a good night.